What's going on, FA Nation? Once again, sorry about the technical difficulties. Here it is, Fantasy Alarm Sports Talk. That's what happens when you host a stream with Adam Ronis. Bad things happen. Thanks, Ronis, on a Friday.
That has never happened on any of the live streams I've been on, so this is definitely attributed to you.
Oh, so you're saying it's my fault then?
You're very good at interpreting things,
and you're very good at passing the buck. So that's what you did in this case, Ronis.
That's what you did on our Alarm After Hours yesterday.
I didn't do anything. What did I do?
You said, "Yeah, I really don't want to talk basketball, but Adam Ronis does."
Did you not want to talk basketball?
And you didn't want to talk basketball?
I did, but I was talking about you. I make it about you. That's how good of a co-host I am to you.
You would throw
about you. It's never about me. It's always about you.
No, you would throw me under the bus in case we caught heat. Like, well, it wasn't me. It was Adam.
No, never, ever. Ronis, let's talk some more NBA playoffs. So we were talking about the Mavs and the Clippers, whether or not the Mavs can take 2 games. I mean, ultimately, it's the Clippers, and we talked about this before, not seeing as much on the upsets, at least for the first round. In this one, Ronis, I mean, the Clippers were your pick. They were my pick to win the championship the way beginning of the season. So I just don't see Dallas, especially because of Dallas's lack of defense. The one player that I've been very impressed with, and I'm wondering how he's going to match up against Montrezl Harrell, considering Harrell doesn't have a lot of reps behind him at this point, Maxi Kleber. He has been very good defensively, and there's definitely steam regarding his defensive impact. Maybe it's because the Mavs don't have anybody else defensively, or that he's actually making that impact. So I'm very interested to see both Harrell and Kleber essentially collide and see if Harrell will still have that kind of success. Have you noticed that with Maxi Kleber?
Yeah, he's been better. We've seen it in the bubble. Some players have definitely improved because it is kind of, in a way, it is sort of a different season. I mean, it's been 4 months. So we have seen improvement from a lot of players. Harrell, I think, will be fine. Conditioning obviously might be an issue early on, but I love watching him play. He's got that motor, that energy just never stops. So I don't think that's something that goes away. But yeah, they're kind of treating this series though as the prime time series. I mean, they're all 9:00 games for Game 3. Then on Sunday, the 23rd, they're the 3:30 p.m. game on ABC, and you can understand why. You got Luka, Porzingis, Leonard, and Paul George. So even though it is a 2-7, you got a lot of top players in this series.
Let's talk about the Thunders and the Rockets, because this series lines are going to be contingent upon whether or not Russell Westbrook ends up playing even the whole series, let alone missing a couple of games, has that quad injury, Ronis. And we talked about this with Houston. I never understood why they were so high up when it came to those Western Conference teams to win the Western Conference, because their whole entire program offense is really centered around 2 people. They don't have anything defensively. They play micro ball. Mike D'Antoni is a known non-defensive minded coach. He's all offense, that is. It's race to 120 every time. You have PJ Tucker as your center. And now, looking at it, you have Russell Westbrook nicked up. And if his quad is really hurting that much, those drives to the basket are going to be tough. Going to be a lot more pressure on James Harden. I don't see how Oklahoma City doesn't win this series now.
It's a lot's going to depend on how much time Russell Westbrook has to miss. I think if he plays and he was healthy, the Rockets would win this series. They actually started off play really well in the bubble. You know, they beat Dallas. I think that was an overtime game, came from behind. They beat the Bucks, and I don't think the Bucks had many guys in that game. The Bucks were playing to win, and they beat them. Obviously, there wasn't a lot on the line for the Bucks, knowing that they had the number 1 seed locked up, but they did a good job in that game. So look, we know they're going to take a ton of threes, 60 to 65 threes a game. So they're very dependent on hitting those shots, but they often do. I mean, it's crazy. And that's the style they play, and they've shown the ability to win with it. Now, whether they advance deep is a different question, but Westbrook being out really hurts them because they account on him for so much of the offense. So I don't think they'll have enough in a series if he's sitting out for more than 2-3 games.
No, not at all. I mean, look, who else do you have that's going to bail out and help out with the scoring? You've got Eric Gordon, who's been banged up. You've got Austin Rivers, who I like, but you're asking a lot of him to try to fill Westbrook's shoes. Austin Rivers, good driver and jump shooter. I like him. Daniel House, he'll just sit there shooting threes the entire time. That's what he does. And then PJ Tucker, who is your essential center, combo forward center you have right there. The only thing that broadcasters say about him is he loves his spot in the corner. That's his spot. They say it every single time. Take a drink, and you won't even remember watching the games. That's how many drinks that you're going to be taking with the amount that the broadcast for the Rockets will say. That's his spot in the corner. He's the center. He should be in the post. And if Steven Adams, luckily for the Rockets, Steven Adams has been a bit banged up. Same with Nerlens Noel. So the fact that the front court is not 100% may give the Rockets a little bit of a shot to make this a series. However, I think if you have a very healthy Adams, that give and go between Paul and Adams, you're going to be able to do that with ease, Ronis.
Yeah, for sure. And again, we don't have a line on the game yet because we don't know the status of Westbrook. We don't know how many games he's going to miss. The Thunder have been one of the surprise teams this year. They've been good against the spread as well. And a lot of people thought they were going to be a rebuilding team, and they've been better than that. So, Gilgeous-Alexander, he got to step up. I was kind of disappointed with his play in the bubble, missed a lot of shots. He had an opportunity to take over a little bit and run the point with Schroeder out, but he's back. But, yeah, they got some good young talent on this team, and Bazley's been really crushing it in the bubble, man.
Yeah, they've got a big time hole in their forward spot. So that's another opportunity for him to be able to come through. Let's talk about the Pacers and the Heat, because the Heat have been able to beat the Pacers this year. However, I will say this. Now with Domantas Sabonis, Ronis, what was the last thing that you saw about Domantas Sabonis? Is he going to at least be out the first round? I have not really seen an update, and from the last I saw, he wasn't ruled out of the playoffs entirely yet. What have you seen?
Yeah, nothing. I mean, I'm not expecting him to play, though. I haven't seen anything that said that he'll be good to go. So I'm expecting him to sit, and it's a big loss for Indiana.
Yeah, and also another big loss-ish for Indiana is TJ Warren and his plantar fasciitis. We've talked about this injury all the time. You don't heal by being on the court when it comes to this injury. You have to rest, and I'm talking weeks and weeks. So now he's going to be playing as damaged goods. So at this point, you're looking at Miles Turner, who I'm not a huge believer in Miles Turner, and the guards that are going to have to score, and I just don't see them being able to contain Bam Adebayo, who should win Most Improved Player, in my opinion. I don't see them being able to contain him in the post at all. And don't forget this, Ronis, Bam is one of those centers that he has pretty good handles as well. So he can drive coast to coast without being touched. And I think you're going to be seeing him bring up the ball a decent amount in this series.
Yeah, I mean, obviously everyone's going to look at Jimmy Butler, TJ Warren matchup as well, as they've had a lot of beef this year, obviously. Miami's gotten the best of it so far. I like Miami in this series. I know Indiana started well in the bubble, and TJ Warren was tearing it up. But we know he's got some plantar fasciitis, and he kind of slowed down. And Miami's really good. They got the shooters, too, with Hero, Duncan Robinson. I think as far as advancing, they don't really have that second scorer. If a Jimmy Butler gets shut down, that's kind of the concern. But, they play pretty good defense. They've been pretty good creating turnovers. So I like them to beat Indiana.
Yes, and you're right. They do have some questions surrounding their depth, especially on the offensive end, because then you've got guys like Duncan Robinson, who all he does is shoot threes. Tyler Hero, all he does is shoot threes. Kendrick Nunn, who can drive. And Goran Dragic has been a little bit banged up, and he's your best bet, and that's why the Heat had a lot of success with him coming off the bench and being able to be that combo guard that he could be, because if you need him to step into that shooting guard role throughout his career, he's been able to do that. But ultimately, I do have Miami in this series. Ronis will continue talking about the NBA playoffs on future streams. It's a great time, my man. Always great talking hoops with you. Thank you once again for tolerating me for a fourth day this week.
Yeah, hopefully I get paid extra for it. I haven't been told anything, but it definitely created more headaches for me.
Yeah, spoiler alert, I don't think you're making any extra money from being with me, Ronis. So you should have to pay me for being able to hang out with me on a live stream, Ronis. But we'll save that for when I come and visit you in Jersey. You'll take me to that Italian spot you mentioned every other hour, and it's going to be a great time. And just like we're going to do with Italian food when we once again get to see each other in 2022, we're going to continue to always dominate. No other option. We just win NBA playoffs. We're betting, and we're here for you. You're our family, and your family is always with you. Have a great weekend.